I'll even mess around with the Rubik's Cube or something just to pass the time. But other than that, I'll talk to the guys.
Are you pretty good at the Rubik's Cube?
I've gotten good at it, and then I put it down for a little while, so I can solve it in under a minute for sure, and that's the only claim I can make.
Welcome to episode 373 of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. I'm Joe McFarland. Despite the cold and snow in recent weeks, we have plenty of baseball to watch on the screen and to dream about as the spring inches closer. Let's take a look at those news headlines once again, and we'll start in spring training, where quite a few players with connections to Alberta and Saskatchewan have made their first appearances and a little bit more. Among some of the highlights, Dawgs product Tristan Peters got off to a flying start in his first spring training game with the Chicago White Sox.
For that giveaway day. Deep drive into right field. Tristan Peters gets all of this one. It is gone!
Former Dog Jacob Melton got into the action as well in his first go with the Tampa Bay Rays.
This was so much fun.
Deep to right field. Jacob Melton. And with that win, that's going to be way gone. A home run off Johan Ramirez. The center fielder Jacob Melton.
Vauxhall grad and bigger Saskatchewan native Garrett Hawkins made a pair of appearances with the San Diego Padres, including his first save.
Got it. Hawkins.
Elsewhere, Calgary's Michael Soroka made his first spring training start with Arizona, allowing 1 run on 2 hits and 3 strikeouts in 2 innings of work in Tuesday's 6-4 win over Texas. Speaking of the Diamondbacks, Dawgs alum Gavin Logan is 2 for 4 with 2 RBI in 3 games so far. Vauxhall Academy grad Adam Macko made his debut with the Toronto Blue Jays, throwing 2 scoreless innings, allowing no hits, a walk, and 2 strikeouts in relief. He followed that up with another scoreless inning Wednesday against Detroit, allowing just 1 walk. St. Joe's Academy product Nathan Fluelling has made 1 plate appearance for the Rays, striking out, and Regina's Thomas Ireland has made 2 very brief appearances with the Texas Rangers, amounting to 3 batters with a ground out, a walk, and a strikeout. And those are just some of the highlights of the past week in Major League Baseball. We'll keep you posted on a few more of the spring training performances in the coming weeks. Over in the college world, time for our top 5 highlights of the week, and really, it boils down to who received Player of the Week accolades, to be honest, because there were 5 of them. Dawgs alum Brody Forno was a Mid-South Conference Pitcher of the Week after a 7-inning complete game gem for Campbellsville University. He allowed just 1 hit and 2 walks while striking out 13 in a 4-0 win over Fisher University. Vauxhall grad Steven Andrachik is the Western Junior College Athletic Conference Player of the Week after hitting .588 with 12 runs scored, 3 doubles, 3 homers, and 12 RBI in just 4 games at Midland Community College. Red Deer native and Prairie Baseball Academy alum Carter Clarout was the Frontier Conference Player of the Week after hitting .875 with 7 hits in 2 games for Bellevue University. He's leading the Bruins in several offensive categories, including home runs. Weber alum and Sylvan Lake Gulls utility man Simon Baker has picked up the Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference Player of the Week honors after he hit .467 with 7 hits and 7 RBI in 4 games, including 3 triples and a home run with Cloud County. And finally, Dawgs Academy alum and former Brooks Bombers slugger Jacob Gillis has picked up Mid-American Conference Player of the Week after he hit 3 homers and drove in 8 for Ball State. We'll hear from Gillis in just a few minutes. On the commitment front, there were a ton once again. Weber product Gavin Armstrong is signed on with Mesa Community College. His teammate Ethan Mayak out of Fort McMurray will join Coffeyville Community College. Another Fort Mac product, Michael Spack out of AHP Academy, is going to Barton Community College. Another AHP product, Cooper Buchko, is heading to Galveston Community College. St. Joe's Academy utility man Keaton Rusnak goes to Southwest Tennessee Community College. Vauxhall grad Jackson George is committed to Bismarck State College. And finally, in Saskatchewan, Barry's Academy utility man Reed Olfert is set to suit up with Butler Community College. A couple of other news bits from what's been a very busy week. Preparations are underway for this year's Blue Jays Academy Canadian Future Showcase. The tryout schedule's been unveiled, with the first stop being in Sylvan Lake May 19th. They'll be in Saskatoon the next day. And finally, a pair of Lethbridge umpires have been chosen to work Little League World Series events this summer. A big congratulations to Tyler Malacca on being named to the crew for Williamsport, while friend of the show Brent Radlinski will be on the team for the Senior League World Series in Easley, South Carolina. On to this week's guests now, and we'll start with one of those players of the week. Jacob Gillis is originally from Fergus, Ontario, but made his way west to ply his trade at Dawgs Academy in high school. He spent a summer with the Brooks Bombers and was an all-star, then spent the last 2 baseball seasons at Bossier Parish Community College. He's now at Ball State University, where the 6'5", 240-pound first baseman is lighting it up in the early going, hitting .333 with 3 homers and 8 RBI in the first 7 games. We caught up with Gillis on the sunny island of Hawaii, where the Cardinals were set to start a 4-game set on Thursday night. Jacob, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
I appreciate you having me.
Off to a solid start with Ball State, including being named the conference co-player of the week. What went through your mind when you got the heads up about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's an honor. It's not something you really think about when you're playing. But I mean, receiving it's cool. But it's just personal. So try and focus more on the team victories than anything. So, yeah, it's nice, but nothing to really brag about for me.
For sure. I mean, at the same time, though, the numbers kind of speak for themselves. 333, 3 homers, 8 RBI in the first 7 games. How are you feeling about the young season so far?
Yeah, kind of got off to a little bit of a shaky start my first weekend. Just a little antsy, tried to do a little too much, I think. And then second weekend, made a few swing adjustments with 3 days off, and then kind of took advantage of some good pitches to hit and made my adjustments, and it worked out.
Not a bad way to introduce you to a bunch of new teammates after a move from Bossier, eh?
Yeah, Bossier.
Have you noticed any big differences making that move over to Ball State from Bossier?
No, I think we run a very JUCO-like program here where the focus is grit and hard work. I think that's what JUCO is all about is, putting in the hours. You got to find a way to get better on your own sometimes. And I mean, we do a lot of that here. We got guys coming early. We got 5 a.m. lifts, 5 a.m.s on the football field. We're putting in a lot of work here. So it's a very grinder, grit mentality here. So I think it's a smooth transition.
When you were going into this season, did you have any goals or expectations of yourself?
We want to win a MAC championship more than anything, personal goals aside. I think all the personal goals I have are just to help the team win a MAC championship. Nothing really on a numbers side or anything like that. Just doing my best every day to help win ball games. Do
you see that championship caliber squad in what you see right now?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're figuring a lot of things out. We have a very new group here, but I think once we get ourselves sorted, we should have a legit chance.
Absolutely. I love getting into the baseball history side of things with you. You're the product of Fergus, Ontario. How'd you get into baseball in the first place?
Yeah, I think I was just thrown in T-ball as a kid, played hockey and baseball, and was always just a little bit better at baseball than hockey. And I think just kind of somebody sent me down the path and kind of followed it and just playing as long as I can now. Just playing a game and try and play it for a living. That's about it.
Was there a moment it flipped for you? Because, I mean, it's tough for a Canadian kid to be like, okay, I'm pushing hockey aside. Do you remember that moment where you went, okay, yeah, I'm going to chase this baseball dream?
Yeah, kind of as soon as we went on our summer trips and fall trips to go play the American teams, probably around 16 years old. Then we really start competing, winning some big tournaments and getting college offers, college looks, and you think you might have something there.
Mm-hmm. Looking back on the young career to this point, do you have any favorite memories or moments on the field where you had to take that step back and go, okay, this is pretty darn cool?
Yeah, I mean, winning 2 national championships, 13U and 15U with Brampton Royals, 2 good memories. Winning the Perfect Game World Series, 18U with the Dawgs, great time. And then winning the Region 14 regular season championship at Bossier last year. Just winning games, man. Those are all the memories, as good as it gets.
And I mean, speaking of Okotoks, man, like, how is it that a kid from Fergus ends up in Okotoks of all places?
It was honestly crazy story. A little bit of a shout out here, but I was committed to Bossier, and one of my best friends now, Jose Nunez, he sent me a Twitter DM and said, "Hey, your last year, we're both committed to Bossier. Come play in Okotoks, enjoy it." And I said to my parents, I'm like, what if I go play in Okotoks? And then flew out there, took a little trip, saw the facilities for 3 or 4 days, and then made the decision to go play my senior year out there.
That is wild. When you look back on that, what'd that program mean to you in your development as a ball player and also as a human being?
Yeah, I mean, greatest year of my life by far. Got to hit with Matt Lloyd and Dane Tofflin damn near every day in the winter. Um, there's not a better place, in my opinion, to get better. All the resources. I know they're building a pitching lab there now. You have anything you want, anything you need to get better. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I view it as the greatest year of my life.
Very cool. How crazy is it for a guy who, from Ontario, played in Okotoks? You also spent the season with the Brooks Bombers, and here you are chatting with me from Hawaii. Like, that's got to be a pretty wild thought, eh?
Yeah. I mean, we're incredibly lucky to be out here. I don't think this is only our first day here, but I don't think there's a better trip in college baseball than coming out here. So, yeah, it's been a journey. Moved out when I was 17, lived alone. It's been 5 years of a grind, but look, I'm talking to you in Hawaii now, so it hasn't been that bad.
Not bad at all. Now, on the flip side of that, we all know baseball is a game of failure. So I'm curious, from your standpoint, what's been the biggest challenge or hurdle that you've overcome where you're super proud of yourself for being able to get over it?
Yeah, I think just the grind of college ball. 56 games is a lot. You got real long fall seasons, especially, I mean, down south you're playing, it's 110 degrees. Up north, you're playing and it's 32 degrees. So finding a way to manage that, just challenges all over, whether it's weather or injuries. But I think every player goes through it, and you just got to manage your way and find the best path for you.
For sure. A few fun ones before we let you go here, Jacob. First off, what's your walk-up tune?
This year we got 3, one for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I got 3 songs by Miranda Lambert.
All right, so country boy.
Kerosene's my go-to. Yeah, Kerosene's my go-to, though.
Fair enough. What's your go-to food at the ballpark when you're there as a fan?
Oh, geez. Probably a hot dog at the ballpark. Nothing really beats that.
What's the condiments of choice?
Just ketchup. Pretty straightforward. Just ketchup.
It's amazing how divisive ketchup versus mustard can be. And then a few people, I'm one of them, I'm like, both, and it just throws everybody for a loop. So it's awesome. And finally, when you're on the bus and you got something you got to do, is it playing cards? Is it putting the earbuds in? What's your go-to activity on the bus?
No, I'm bringing a pillow and I'm going to sleep on the floor. That's it. I'll take the first spot on the floor and I'll lay there for as long as it takes.
Fair enough. 2 more we ask everybody here on the show. First off, for those young kids who are just starting out on their journeys and they want to get to where you're at now, what's that one piece of advice or words of wisdom you'd love to impart upon them?
You got to love the game, I think. It's a job. We're, like I said, we're up at 5 a.m. It's cold or it's hot. You got to put in the work, and the work's got to be fun to you. So I think you got to enjoy it. You got to make it fun. It can't be a chore to go to the park every day.
For sure.
So just enjoy it, I think.
Absolutely. And the final one, what does the game of baseball mean to you, Jacob?
I mean, it's everything to me. It's been my life for the past 22 years. Every day showing up. It's made so many friends, so many coaches that I still talk to this day. Built relationships. It's been everything to me. It's been my whole life.
Well, it's been awesome getting to shed a little bit of light on your journey, Jacob. Again, congratulations on all the success you've had at this point. Continued success this spring at Ball State and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me.
Next up is Estevan's Nathan Yunick. The sophomore right-hander is coming off the best start of his season at Trinidad State College, allowing 2 runs on 3 hits and 6+ while striking out 10. The Martin Academy grad feels like he's getting better as the season progresses, which is a good thing as he heads towards a playoff run, then an eventual return to the WCBL's Moose Jaw Miller Express, where he spent the last couple of summers. He also told us a secret about something he's really good at off the field. Nathan, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Coming off a really strong 10 strikeout performance against Utah State Eastern and a pretty solid start to the season as well, but I always like asking the numbers speak for themselves. So how are you feeling about how things are going so far?
I think things are shaping up. The biggest things are I'm building on each start and talking with coaches and everything. It just seems to get better every time, and every time I go out, I feel like I have a chance.
What's been working for you, or what's been getting better in your eyes that makes a start like that last one stand out for you?
I think trusting the stuff I have right now and making my changes not just on mechanics or things that I see online, or it's mainly just on my mentality and how I go about my business on the field, and how I could make my stuff that I have right now the best against hitters every day.
This is your second season at Trinidad. Did you have any expectations or goals for yourself heading in, especially knowing sort of the cadence of a summer college or a spring college season, and knowing kind of what to expect with that team?
Yeah, I knew I had to prove it, and I knew this sophomore year was going to be a big one for me, and I knew that going back to Trinidad, it was going to be an uphill battle just with all the elevation in Colorado, and I've kind of settled in and kept the ball down, so that's the biggest thing for me.
Mm-hmm. When you're in a state like that, and I'm always curious, like we talk about the Rockies, especially at the big league level, is do you try to focus less on the numbers to a certain extent because you know that the ball's going to fly a little bit further there? You know that things aren't exactly as, I'll call it, normal as it might be in Saskatchewan or Alberta kind of thing.
Yeah, I know the numbers might be inflated, but I think I'm pretty hard on myself too. Even though I see a high ERA, but if I can get swing and miss stuff, I know that'll translate to other states, and even when I go back home to play in the WCBL.
Mm-hmm. Do you find yourself taking on a bit more of a leadership role this year?
Yeah, even with a couple other sophomore buddies, I feel a larger role with just the pitchers in general and help guide them, or just in the dugout as well, trying to get the guys going as well.
Mm-hmm. Bit of a tough start to the year for you guys, but you're reeling off 4 of your last 6 wins-wise. How are you feeling about this team as a whole and what you guys might be able to accomplish over the next couple of months here?
I think we have talent out the roof. We're really shaping up, and even though we might be young in some parts, they're gaining lots of experience, and lots of these games early on were tough, and now that we've settled in, I think conference play will go really well.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting too. Is like it's almost like you learn a little bit more out of losses than you do out of early wins to a certain extent. It builds a little bit of resilience. Is that sort of the message going into conference play here? Is, hey, we've taken our lumps, now let's learn from those and try to elevate our game heading into the next couple of months.
Yeah, I think early on in our schedule, it being tough and facing good Texas teams and going down south and seeing what the talent level really is and what the standards should be, it shows us that if we can compete with these teams down here, that in conference we should be able to just compete and be at our highest level when we do start conference.
Mm-hmm. You have a few fellow Canadians on that roster as well. That's got to be kind of nice to have a few familiar faces or guys you can relate to during the course of a spring down south.
Yeah, having guys that I played against in high school is always good. Even between or before games, we'd go and talk, and I went to high school with Gail Cherapuschuk as well, so having guys like that and even having a battery mate like that, it's good to have a relationship before even the season starts.
For sure. I always love getting into the baseball past here a little bit, Nathan. You're originally from Estevan. How'd you get into baseball in the first place?
It started when I was young. I was playing every sport, trying everything, seeing what I really liked. And ended up growing to 6 foot before high school, and I think it was either baseball or basketball at that point, and I'd never touched skate before, so I wasn't really a hockey player either.
One of the rarities in Western Canada, I'm pretty sure, right there. Not many guys can say, yeah, I didn't really touch a skate, so no thanks. Hey, was there a moment, though, that you can look back on and go, that was the defining moment, that was the time where I went, hey, I want to chase this baseball dream?
I think it was 15th year. We were driving 45 minutes to go play in Alameda for Southeast Days, and I think that whole year I really knew that I really wanted to be a pitcher, and I could slack a little bit in hitting, and I could really focus on pitching, and I think that's what really led me to be a pitcher and go to Regina to go to Martin Academy and find other sources like Dustin Mulliken as a pitching coach to really mentor me into being a pitcher now.
It was funny, you've hit on 2 things that I wanted to ask. First off, when you talk about Martin, what's that program meant to you, not just as a ball player, but as a human being as well?
I think they really shaped me into the person I am today. Coach C and Izzy, I still talk to and see on a regular basis now with C and Kale being on the team. I still talk to him pretty frequently, and just going back to the program and seeing all the guys that I used to play with and now that play college ball. It was really nice to have competitive guys in the classroom and on the field I'd go and practice every day with.
Mm-hmm. And also you mentioned a guy who had some time in Major League Baseball, Dustin Mulliken. What's that like, being able to learn from a dude who's seen it all, been there, done that, and got the t-shirt kind of thing?
He was the biggest boost in my career I think I ever had. He's the guy that I go to talk to if I have any problems or if I had a good weekend like this last one. He was the guy that actually saw me at Martin and wanted me to go train there, which was a big plus, and I think it was a turning point in my career.
Very, very cool. Looking back on the young career, do you have any favorite memories or moments that really stand out for you where you almost had to take that step back and go, man, I can't believe I get to do this?
Yeah, I think it was my second year in midget with the Regina Wolfpack, and we went to Westerns. That was a big moment for me, and just being able to have that group of guys that I went to high school with, and then we'd go to the field after school, and then we'd play a game. I think that was really special, and I look back and I miss moments like that.
Mm. Also, something that's probably a highlight for you, I assume, would be this last summer where you get to suit up back home in the WCBL with Moose Jaw Miller Express. How cool is that, being able to come back home and play really high level ball in, right close to home, and have friends and family in the stands and that kind of thing?
Yeah, Moose Jaw feels like home now, being there for a couple of years now, APing, and then finally making the jump for the full-time roster and being able to play in front of fans, and then having my friends be able to watch on Home Team Live or having them on the weekends there was really special, and I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Absolutely. Conversely, we all know baseball is a game of failure. So what's the biggest challenge or hurdle in your young career where you're really proud of yourself for being able to overcome?
I think it was my freshman year at Trinidad, actually. Thinking and talking about it with coaches before and saying, yeah, I got to hit around a bit, and now that this year I look at it and I say, now I got the stuff, and I've gained the experience that has shown that I'm resilient enough and have the baseball makeup to really go out there and compete. And even though if I do get hit around, I'm still able to bounce back.
Fantastic stuff. A few fun ones here before we let you go, Nathan. First off, when you're back at home for the summer, you walk in the door to your parents' place. What's that one thing you want them to make? What's that one supper that is like, okay, I got to have this because I've been missing it since I went down to college?
I think it's steak and potatoes, honestly. Just having a barbecued steak and potatoes is probably the best thing that my dad can grill up, and it's easy after to clean up.
Absolutely. Speaking of food, when you're at the park as a fan, what's your go-to at the concession stands?
I think Moose Jaw has good funnel fries. I think that's the one thing that I go after.
I got to visit them during the 2024 run, and I got to say, those fries, top notch. It almost reminded me of being at a small town hockey rink. That's how good they are. And finally, when you're on the bus, what's your go-to activity? Are you a cards guy? Are you an earbuds in guy? What do you like to do?
I'm definitely an earbuds in guy. Either that, or I'll even mess around with the Rubik's Cube or something just to pass the time. But other than that, I'll talk to the guys.
Are you pretty good at the Rubik's Cube?
I've gotten good at it, and then I put it down for a little while, so I can solve it in under a minute for sure, and that's the only claim I can make.
All right, so now you're making me want to start a video series for this summer featuring WCBL players trying to do a Rubik's Cube, and the first guy I'm asking is Nathan Yunick. I'm looking forward to this already. Awesome stuff. Final two that we ask everybody here on the show, Nathan, for those young kids starting out on their journeys and they want to get to where you're at now, what's that one piece of advice or those words of wisdom you'd love to impart upon them?
I'd say stick through every challenge that baseball comes through you, and even though it may get hard, just have fun with the game, because it's a fun game after all, and if you're having fun, you'll play it for a long time.
Absolutely. And finally, what does the game of baseball mean to you?
It means everything right now. Everything I do or think about. I basically live baseball. Anything in baseball. Watching it before practice or after with spring training now, or how I should sleep and recovery-wise. I think baseball has given me a lot, and I give a lot to baseball, and it's just been a part of me for so long that I can't let it go yet.
Absolutely. Well, Nathan, congrats again on all the success you've had at this point. Continued success down at Trinidad this spring and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thanks so much.
And we'll wrap things up this week getting to know AHP Academy product Seamus Lehman, a redshirt sophomore at Fort Scott College. He's hitting .273 with a homer, 5 RBI, and 8 runs scored in his first 9 games of college ball. The infielder is feeling good about the transition from high school to post-sec and is looking forward to continuing to make a name for himself at the next level. Seamus, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me.
Off to a solid start with Fort Scott College, 6 hits in your first 9 games, but the numbers kind of speak for themselves. So I always ask, how are you feeling about your start so far?
I'm feeling pretty good about it. I didn't start off the year in the lineup, so I knew like once I got in, I would have to make a good statement of like to establish myself and just come out swinging. Yeah.
Was there a moment in time there where you kind of went, okay, I've hit the ground running, like I that was my statement, and now I can be here to stay, kind of thing?
Yeah, first game I got into this year, I got the DH spot in the fourth game of the first series, and like we had runners on, and I just lined a single right up the middle in my first at bat, and that just gave me some confidence, really.
Absolutely. Confidence is the name of the game. And speaking of confidence, not that far into it as well, you get your first home run February 10th. How did that one feel to get out of the park?
That one was pretty cool. Like we have our four-hole hitter has been on fire recently, so he was hitting a bunch of jacks, and he actually hit one right before I did. So, and the boys were all hyped, and then I came up first pitch and got an up and in fastball, and it was like, I don't know, to go back-to-back with somebody is pretty cool. Pretty fun experience.
Absolutely. Quite a few walks as well, I've noticed right off the bat. Does it feel like you're seeing the ball real well?
Yeah, I usually pride myself on not striking out, not trying like not being able to be beat when I get to 2 strikes. And if I get to 2 strikes early, I'm going to grind every at bat out. So, yeah, I try to see a lot of pitches, and yeah, I've been seeing the ball pretty well, I think.
Absolutely. Looking at the overall experience, what's that transition been like going from high school to college ball?
High school ball in Canada was like, you typically see like maybe a couple guys touch like a high 8 or something like that. And my first experiences down here, like we had 4 starters over 90. And like, so basically you just got to make sure, like for me, I just have to make sure my swing can compete for higher velocities and nastier breaking balls. And it's really just been like simplifying, shortening my swing up, and just to make sure being early all the time,
What's been kind of the key to cashing in right away? Because I know a lot of guys, when they see that jump, they're kind of like taken aback almost and take a little bit to get used to it. And you seem to have adjusted real well.
Yeah, I find that with velo and stuff like that, like if you're a good hitter, your swing's going to play to like all levels basically, and you just got to figure out like what mental cues and what like timing is going to work for you, because your swing is your swing, and it got you to college, and it probably brought you success in high school, and it's like you don't really need to wipe everything away, and you just got to tweak a couple things and stay confident in yourself.
For sure. Heading into this season, did you have any goals or expectations of yourself going in?
I know last year I made 1 error on the season, so this year I'm going to try to keep 1,000 fielding percentage, even though for an infielder it seems like kind of an impossible thing to do, but I just want to hold myself like to a high standard that way. And really just whenever I step in the box, just always be confident, really.
How much pride do you put into the defensive side of the game? Because that says a lot about a dude when he says right out of the gate, I'm focused on the D side more than I am about what's going on with my pop and my bat.
Yeah, I feel like if you can be a consistent fielder and like just be reliable out there, like you'll be put out there and your bat will come along even if you're struggling. And like as an infielder, I feel like I'd rather go over 3 with 3 strikeouts than make error in a game, you know?
Mm-hmm. Plenty of wins as a team to start the season as well. How does that squad look in the early stages in your eyes?
I think our hitters are really coming together good, like, and along with our pitching staff, like we got a young group of guys, but like they've kind of like our whole lineup has just come out swinging and doing our job, and our pitching staff is always right behind us.
Fantastic stuff. I love getting into the baseball history side of things, so let's get into it. You're the product of Edmonton. How did you get into baseball in the first place?
Well, I'm originally from BC, and my dad always just used to throw me BP as a kid. And then once we moved, he was always just trying to put me on teams anywhere I could play. And I ended up finding AHP, and I've just been training with them ever since.
When you're growing up, did you play other sports, or was it all baseball all the time?
I played some hockey, a little bit of hockey, but I always loved baseball. Like it was always like my favorite sport.
Was there a moment where it flipped for you, where you went, okay, this is the one I want to really chase?
Yeah, I think my first year of high school, I was playing football and I was playing hockey as well. And it ended up just being too much for me. Like I wanted to make a decision, and my dad, who's like former hockey player, like he played overseas professional. Like I was kind of like nervous to tell him I was going to quit hockey and stuff, but he likes baseball just as much as I do. So he was like ready for it. Like he was like, all right, like you got to pick one. Like, so he thought it was all right.
That makes a world of difference when all of a sudden that pressure is off and you can just go with what you love versus not making sure that you don't make dad mad kind of thing. So that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Looking back on the young career to this point, do you have a favorite memory or moment on the field that really stands out where you had to take that step back and go, man, this is pretty cool?
I think when I was playing summer games, when I was probably, I think I was 13 turning 14 is when like I really thought like I could actually be pretty good at baseball, because like we were in these like high level competitions and I was playing with guys like older than me. And then I think for that tournament, I hit like 8 for 11 or something like that. And I had like 4 doubles, and I was like, I never really could hit I was usually just a singles guy because I was always pretty small. Mm-hmm. And then, so that tournament like really like flipped the switch for me, and like was like, all right, I could actually really play a little bit, you know?
Absolutely. You mentioned AHP a little bit earlier on. What's that program meant to you in your development, not just as a ball player, obviously, but also as a human being?
AHP and Taylor are really like, they're really like great foundation for me as when I go home to train and like whenever I need advice, because like I feel like whenever I talk to Taylor and Connor and Ethan, like they always like give me a lot of confidence, and they've been there, done everything. So they really just have the blueprint for if you want to take baseball serious or take any sport serious, really, like they know exactly what to tell you.
Mm-hmm. Looking back on the young career as well, what's been the biggest challenge or hurdle you've had to overcome where you had to take that second look and go, okay, I'm really proud of myself for being able to do that?
I'd say that working every day, like even when games are like, or like outcomes are not going your way, like going into my last year of high school ball, like I'm pretty sure in the fall, I just didn't perform for the HP, like, fall season. And I was like down on myself, and that winter I just like worked my ass off, really, because I knew to get to where I want to be, like you're going to have lows, you're going to have highs, and you just got to remain consistent.
Mm-hmm. Where is it that you want to end up being?
For the 4-year level after JUCO, honestly, I try not to think about it as much and just stay present, but the dream to play Division I baseball is always there. But I know, like, as long as I put like everything into it right now and just focus on where I'm at, like, the end of the year, the stats will be there and I'll be where I need to go.
On the academic side, they always talk about a student athlete, and the student part comes first. What are you taking in school, or what are you hoping to take when you get to a 4-year program?
Right. I want to do business and finance, but I think really when I'm done with school, I would like to be a firefighter.
Very cool. Kudos to you. Anybody who serves the public is a grade A person in my book, so well done. A few fun ones here before we let you go, Seamus. First off, what's your walk-up tune?
Walk-up is Gotta Give Me Style by 50 Cent.
Oh, an oldie but a goodie. I like it. What's your go-to food when you're at the ballpark as a fan?
Ooh, I'd say probably just a hot dog. I feel like a hot dog and a nice drink is always great at the ballpark.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
I love the debate on that, and the hard no tells you everything you need to know. And finally, who is your baseball idol? Who's the guy that maybe you had a poster up on the wall or that kind of thing?
Baseball idol. I feel like I got a lot, but I really like. It's kind of controversial, but I really like A-Rod when he was a shortstop. I feel like he was just such a sick player.
On another level, for sure. A couple more before we let you go. They're the standard ones across the board we ask here on the show. First off, for those young kids who are just starting out on their journeys or wanting to get to where you're at now, maybe they're at AHP or somewhere else in Alberta and they want a piece of advice or some words of wisdom, what do you want to impart upon them?
I feel like if you want anything in life, you got to just put in the work. Like, there's no getting around it. You can't have what you want if you're not willing to work for it. And if you really love what you're going to do and what you're doing, it shouldn't be a problem.
Absolutely. If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life is one way of putting that, for sure.
Yes, sir.
And the final one we always ask, what does the game of baseball mean to you, Seamus?
I feel like baseball is like, it's such a fair game because it's when you're out there, it's just you versus the pitcher, and like everybody has their job to do, and there's only one outcome. Like, there's only if you hit the pitch or you don't. Like, it's just like the truth, I feel like.
Well, it's been fantastic to get to know your truth over the course of your young career to this point, and a blast being able to watch you succeed down south. Congrats on all the success to this point. Continued success this spring at Fort Scott and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show, Seamus.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Thanks again to Jacob Gillis, Nathan Yunick, and Seamus Lehman for joining us this week, and thanks to all of you for downloading and listening. If you like this or any other episode, make sure to leave us a rating and review, as those actions help spread the word about our show. And speaking of, we've noticed a massive uptick in the number of new subscribers on the various platforms, so if you're new, welcome aboard. And for those who've been listening every step of the way or any point in between, thanks as always for your support. And again, as always, a tip of the cap to our platinum supporters, the Okotoks Dogs, Under the Lights Sports and Entertainment, and the Western Canadian Baseball League for their generosity in helping us tell the game stories in our province. They help us cover costs like web hosting fees and online newspaper subscriptions. If you'd like to join our roster or to just learn more about our tremendous teammates, head to albertadugoutstories.com/supporters. Until next time, thank you for all of your support online, on social, and on air of Alberta Dugout Stories.